Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss the duties of an American scholar in the essay The American Scholar by Ralph Waldo Emerson. A scholar must bring about a revolution in literary taste. Emerson says that the signs of a revolution are already visible in American literature. The underprivileged class of the society is being given a lot of significance in literature. This is considered to be an optimistic change as it is a sign of the birth of a new age. Emerson welcomes this literary movement, which includes the near, the low, the common. That is, literature which writes about the common people, the literature which includes the feelings of the poor, of a child, about the philosophy of street, and the meaning of household life. These are the new topics which are being written about. This is a very good step towards future because it is filled with vigor and enthusiasm. And to write about the common, the familiar, the low is a sign of a new revolution. The underprivileged class of people had long been neglected in literature. Literature till now focused on the wealthy and privileged class of the society. This did not include human experience in totality because most of the people, or a large majority of people, belong to the underprivileged class. Emerson believes that literature, which includes the day to day lives of different classes of people, gives us an insight in the antique and future worlds. The idea that all men and women are created equal and none is better than the other was the foundation stone of American independence. Such a type of literature draws attention towards the sublime presence of the highest spiritual cause that is present in all mankind. This literature speaks the truth about the majority of people, and only this type of literature can unite the nation, not the one speaking about only the wealthy and privileged class. There is one design in the universe which unites the high as well as the low. Therefore, the lowest strata, that is, the common man, should be given attention, and it is the duty of an American scholar to try to bring out this revolution in literary taste. The idea of unity inspired the genius of Goldsmith, Burns, and Cowper in the earlier times, and in the current times, it inspires poets like Goethe, Wordsworth, and Carlyle. They have followed this idea differently with different degrees of success. By reading these works, men and scholars and readers come to know that things that are near to us are in no way less beautiful and wonderful than things which are remote. Understanding of these seemingly mundane topics helps a person to understand those things that seem to be more glamorous and are remote. Emerson means to say that the things that are near to us explain the things that are far. A drop of the ocean is, in a way, a small ocean. By studying the qualities of a drop, we can know about the whole ocean. Similarly, a man is related, a single man is related to all of nature. Emerson tries to draw our attention towards the significance of literature which portrays things near us. He gives us a list of the genius writers and says that they use the language of the middle and the lower classes rather than that of the upper classes, which could only be understood by educated upper classes. Instead, they wrote poetry and books using the language of the common people, as it was easy for all members of the society to understand it, as it was related to their own lives. Emerson points out towards the contribution of Emanuel Swedenborg, who, according to him, was a genius and had done much to bring about a change in literature in order to popularize this new philosophy of life. He was a very imaginative man, but he wrote with the precision of a mathematician and tried to establish a relationship between human beings, nature, and the divine. He propagated Emerson's theory of the oneness of these three things. It means studying the natural sciences could help humanity to understand itself better and promote spiritual growth. Emerson says that the scholar must follow the example of Swedenborg. A scholar must focus on the worth of an individual and establish the basic unity of all. Emerson believes that another sign of the revolution in his times is the new importance given to the single person. He says that a society in which individual members know that they are worthy of respect and can govern themselves in a more united manner than a society divided by class. No man in this world is either willing or able to help any other man. He believes that help comes from one's own bosom. The scholar, according to Emerson, is a man who must take up into himself all the ability of the time, all the contribution of the past, all the hopes of the future, and he must be a university of knowledge. He should help the society understand that the world is nothing and that man is all important. The law of nature resides in man himself. A scholar must know that reason slumbers or sleeps within him. He must awaken this reason and apply his reasoning faculty to understand the truth about man and his life. The efforts of a scholar and the courage must bring about the union of man and with nature and God. He believes that the American scholar will help the society to realize that working for the advancement and betterment of the society is a more important task than working merely for the world, which means working for reputation, money, or social standing. Emerson believes that it is the American scholar who will bring about a revolution that will unite America. He says that the country has listened for a long time to the courtly muses of Europe. That is, the people of America have paid too much attention to the courtly muses of Europe, and so the American scholar has been complicit in holding America back from achieving true cultural independence. This has also resulted in making Americans timid, tame, and imitative. People work for power and money. There is widespread greed in the public as well as the private sector. He believes that the American society has given a lot of significance to industrialization and innovation, but not enough to intellectual development. He says that the mind of America eats upon itself because it believes that it can aim only at low objects. Emerson is mournful when he says that the young Americans who dream of mankind, of making big changes, but are discouraged and feel hindered from action by the disgust which the principles on which business is managed inspire. To change this situation, Emerson reminds his audience that if one sticks to principles, others will start following it. Emerson repeats that what he had said earlier, that practical people of the world look down on the speculative people because the speculative ones are not contributing to the society. American mind has grown complacent and is willing to accept the traditions and culture of other nations rather than facing the challenge to aim higher and to create something new and unique. He says that if one scholar makes a breakthrough, then others will follow suit. He criticizes the idea that all people should be done just in the gross, in the hundred or the thousand. They should be judged as a whole unit. Their opinion should not be predicted geographically as belonging to the north or to the south. He believes that America has the potential to become a united nation. The scholar must rise above all worldly power, and every individual also should work with full confidence and rely on his own instincts for the good of the world. If every American works patiently to achieve his noble aims, then American people will walk on their own feet and will work with their own hands and speak their own mind. This will help them acquire self confidence and independence of outlook. A nation of man will exist for the first time, diminishing all social divisions of North and South. America can thus achieve greatness through literature and art, and it is the American scholar who can bridge the social divisions by moving that no human being is inherently superior than other because every individual is inspired by the divine soul. The divine soul is common to all men. The scholar can carry out this noble task with patience, courage, and determination.